Yeah, you look like somebody farted, like when I said
No,
it. So,
well, it's interesting because we're at some point in the episode we're gonna get to this because there is a chunk of bands that people love,
yeah.
and I go, cool.
I mean, I don't really know any dudes that like Taylor Swift.
Right.
So I have some female friends, and of course they all like Taylor Swift. And I'm always like, can you explain Taylor Swift to me? Like,
Yeah.
why is she the most popular artist in America? Like, what's going on? And the reaction is for them to get mad at me. Hello and welcome to Personal Records with Scott and Chris.
Today we're gonna talk about some of our favorite records.
And we're going to be talking about concept albums.
Ooh, toughie. This is tough.
Yep. We're going to get really conceptual.
Yes.
So let's do it. Okay. So we have not talked about this at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is a topic of conversation we have ever had when it comes to music over all the years of concept albums. But so there's a bunch of different ways that
Correct.
this could be tackled. I had fun with this one, and I'm very curious about how you approached it. How did you like preparing for this episode?
Well, I guess for me, when I was thinking concept, if overall from start to finish, what was the theme, everything from the name of the title to what the songs were about, all those things. So I think I did a lot more research.
Yeah.
For this one for sure. And, because even though a lot of times a band or an artist will write a concept record, but it's very loose, I was kind of trying to find like, okay, there is a story. There is a lot of times there's characters. It matches with the book or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Because a lot of records have become books, etc. So, or based on the records based off of a book as well.
Interesting.
I wonder if
I know we're gonna have one of this the same. I know it's just gonna be who has it higher up.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's your turn to start with honorable mentions. So go ahead.
I have three.
Okay.
I only came up with three because I really felt like the ones that I thought of fit well in the top five. Okay.
Yeah.
So my first one is Pink Floyd. Dark Side of the Moon, 1973. I'm not into Pink Floyd. I don't hate them, don't love them. If they're on, I listen. It's one of those things. But there are people who are like, Pink Floyd is right, which is rad and those things. But why I love this is because of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I remember watching it.
Yeah.
I believe we were together.
Yeah.
I'm sure
it was on 22 too.
Yeah.
In somebody's room.
It was not our room, but we watched it, and I was fascinated because it was so cool just to see how things fit. And like I said, so that to me, that's
great.
My second one, I don't know if it's considered, but I considered a concept record. It is from a band called Atreyu.
Oh yeah.
And the album is called The Curse. Is from 2005. Definitely a lot of it is written like about vampires and different things. Pretty much when I listen to this record, I want to go watch the Underworld movies. Like after I listen to this, I'm like, I want to go watch Underworld.
Okay.
So that is where that is, because a lot of the songs and themes of that record deal with love, but also vampires and things. And it's very, very dark. So there you go.
Vampires and things. I like it.
And then my third honorable mention is from Coheed and Cambria, Second Stage, Turn Back Lane, 2002.
Nice.
I love this album. Play it, every couple of months. I always go follow my Coheed and I go through. But I mean, granted, every album is considered a concept, but I think it's just a great record. So those are my three.
That's great. Those are three great choices. Okay, mine. This was hard, man, because there are so many that you could say. I mean, tons of records have a concept that runs through the whole thing. So it's like, where do you draw the line of? I have Pedro the Lion. I put Winners Never Quit and Control, which were back to back, and those were like intentionally concept albums, and especially Winners Never Quit. And it's dark. They're both dark, and it was a turn for Dave Bazan and the band Pedro the Lion to go from what he had been doing to like Winners Never Quit, which is like a story about it's centrally about a family, a husband and wife, and the husband is like a politician, and it comes to murder, and it's really good. I put Sufjan Stevens, Illinois. I love Sufjan Stevens. and he did an album all about the state of Illinois. And so it's got, you know, obviously Chicago is probably the song that if anybody knows that album, they know the song Chicago. He has a song about John Wayne Gacy, you know, a song about Abraham Lincoln, you know, yeah. Or not even just Abraham Lincoln. What was the wife's name? Oh gosh, I should know that, but it'll pop into my head. If I just yell out a name later, it's her. I have Arcade Fire, and I did Neon Bible. That was their follow-up to the first record, which I'm blank. Do you remember what the first record was called? Okay. Well, anyway, and then they did the Suburbs after Neon Bible. But I love Neon Bible because it had a lot to do. It was mainly about like religion and about kind of growing up in like a kind of very religious situation. And it just had a lot of things that reminded me of things that we kind of grew up with, and it resonated a lot with me. And it's just a great album with a lot of great songs. Funeral is the first album of Arcade Fire. Still waiting on Mrs. Lincoln's name. It's like a famous.
Is it like we're about to end this?
Yeah. Can we pause? I need to get into this. All right. So, and then the last one I'll say for my honorable mentions is so I went back and forth on this one. Do I put this in my top 5 or not? And it's because it is a great record, and it's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. There we go. And it's a great album. I mean, some would say the best album of all time. I don't think it's the best album of all time. It's not my favorite Beatles record, but I mean, I feel like it has to be mentioned when you talk about concept albums. It's like they created a whole concept of a different band with the singer Billy Shear, you know, who's Ringo. So anyway, those were my honorable mentions. I could have done so many other ones because you could, like I said, so many great albums that you're like, yeah, there's definitely a thing that goes through this whole thing, and you can call it a concept album, but those were the ones I landed on. Cool. So with that being said, we're ready to do our top 5.
Yes, sir.
What you got?
All right. So this was, I'd probably say a little bit of a left field pick, but it's from a band called Reggie and the Full Effect.
Oh, okay.
And the album is called Songs Not to Get Married to. And it is a great record.
Okay.
But literally James, the lead singer of Reggie, he literally is writing about his divorce. And it was like
hilarious.
It's crazy because what was shocking, I think, about it is that he was very, very open about it. Like most people, when you're doing that, especially as an artist or whatever, you don't. But like he literally is like, I'm going to name this record Songs Not to Get Married to. And he literally lays out like what went on with his divorce and how things went. And but
I don't think I've ever heard that. Like, I mean, I've heard of albums where they're like, yeah, supposedly this is about whatever, but to actually just straight up.
No, he was straight up. And even I remember back in the day when I was reading articles about this, it was like, this is hilarious, but also like at the same time. Right. But great album. And if anybody's ever listened to any of Reggie and the Full Effect, very, very cool. He was in Get Up Kids for many years, but this was his side thing before doing all that stuff. But Get Well Soon, an amazing song. The Truth, spelled Trooth, is a heavy song. Take Me Home Please is just a little bit poppier song, but the last song, like I won't say it's the last title track. I mean, the last song on the album is called Playing Dead, and very, very open. But it's a great record, but it's also kind of crazy to kind of like to hear everything from his perspective.
Yeah.
But overall, great concept, very bold, I think. To do that, but it is a solid record.
Cool.
So, yep.
I never really got into them, but like, I know you like them, and I've heard good things. I don't know anybody that's ever been divorced, so it might not resonate with me, but
really,
yeah. Psych. Okay, good choice. I want to listen to it. My number 5 is Pink Floyd, and I am a Pink Floyd huge fan, and I thought you could have listed a bunch of theirs. You could have done Dark Side. You could have done Wish You Were Here. I went with The Wall.
Cool.
Because The Wall was the first Pink Floyd album I fell in love with because of Comfortably Numb and Hey You. And it's like, I'll go 2-3 years without listening to The Wall. and then I'll be like, I'll go, ooh, I know what I want to do.
Right.
And a lot of times it's like I'm doing something, a project or whatever, and I'm like, okay, I want to put on the wall, just get immersed into this
That's awesome.
album, and it always delivers. It's so good. It is, I couldn't sit here and tell you the whole story behind the whole thing. It's about Syd Barrett, like a lot of their stuff is, which is just so fascinating. That's one of the fascinating things about Pink Floyd is that they had this band that was this like psychedelic band led by Syd Barrett, and they were successful, and they weren't huge, and then Syd Barrett takes, I guess, too much of a hit of a LSD and loses his mind, loses his marbles. And I mean, imagine you lose the leader of your band, but then you end up becoming like one of the biggest bands of all time. And you end up writing about him. He like haunts the rest of their career,
right?
But they make this amazing music out of it. It's also, Comfortably Numb. I didn't know this, but I was like, I know it's a great concept album. I can follow it when I'm listening to it, but what is it really about? But Comfortably Numb, I never knew this, but apparently Roger Waters wrote it about being on muscle relaxers when he had hepatitis. I was like, I didn't need to know that because it's such a, I don't know, kind of pretty like, you're floating on air. You're sort of like,
it's a great song, but then you think, oh, it's about that.
Yeah. Cool. I'm like, Roger, you didn't have to, yeah. I mean, and if it's not true, it's not true, but that's what, the internet said it. So chances are
it's right.
It's right. So,
yeah.
All right, deal. That's it. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is from Rush. And you probably think, oh, there's so many you can choose from, but I chose their 2012 album, Clockwork Angels.
Did you?
I love this record for a lot of different reasons. One is because this is, Neil at his, his age, all the stuff. Cause I probably should have done more research, but I know like after this album, I don't know really much what came out. There's a lot, of course, like every year there's like the 30th anniversary of this and that, but from his recording, he is at the top. Like his drumming is unreal. Yeah. And especially when you think, okay, Rush, if you go back and listen to Rush from 78, all the way to, the 80s and 90s. But then you hear how he's playing in 2012. Neil Peart is ridiculous. Like there's a song called Headlong Flight where he is just, he's using double bass. He is all over the place. And it sucks is because, I never got to see him live. That was always like a bucket list. Yeah. Type thing. But within that, being a concept director, the fact that there was even a book, like someone wrote a book, they took his lyrics from Neil. Because, because Neil was a lyricist for that band all the time, but they took that and made it into, there's a book called Clockwork Angels. But it is an amazing record, especially with a band has been as long as it's been just those 3 guys. Yeah. Kicking out those records. Now you're in 2012. You've gone through the waves of all the ups and downs of the changes of the music and so forth, and what's popular, what's not, and they're still Rush, and it is a great record. So if you listen to BU2B, 7 Seas of Gold is amazing, but like I said, the song that I absolutely love is Headlong Flight. It is absolute best drumming, and I think it's actually, of all the recordings of Rush, I want to say that is Neil's best performance behind the kit.
Wow.
So that's why I love that.
Great pull. I think I've listened to it a little bit when it came out, but I couldn't tell you a single song. And I'm a Rush fan. I'm a big Rush fan. But I started to not pay as much attention to the newer albums. So I did not see that coming from you. And I am going to listen to that tonight. Like, I am excited. It's got your recommendation, which I very much appreciate. Yep. And my number 4 is also Rush. And I thought, so it was funny because you go, the 2012 album, and I'm like, oh, he said 2012. He meant 2112, right? So I've got 2112. Okay, which is kind of a cool little symbiotic thing right there. So 2112 is awesome. It's the first Rush record that I got into and liked in high school because of Neff. He talked about Rush. I had heard Tom Sawyer and Free Will and stuff, but he talked 2112. I started listening to it, and it's great for, you know, Neil's lyrics and their whole thing is so like perfect for kind of nerdy high schoolers and stuff. Because you're like, oh my gosh, you're, you know, this whole the whole 2112 first half of the album, which is this story about, you know, a guy finding a guitar and saving humanity from the galactic forces or whatever. Did I write? I'm trying to see if I actually wrote something down. No, I put guitar saves world. You know, but because it doesn't really matter. But when you're listening to it, and it's like you get so sucked in, and it's so tight of an album, and it sounds so good. And at this point in their career, they were struggling. So they had put out Caress of Steel. So they had nobody liked it, right? Yeah. So they had like Fly By Night, which was a big deal. Working Man was like, which by the way, Working Man is still, I put that thing on to get fired up. But and they didn't know what was going on. They were like, this wasn't supposed to happen. They thought about hanging it up. And here's what I love. Instead of hanging it up, they did a concept album about, you know, whatever 2112 is actually about.
Right.
And it's like such a bold thing to just, all right, we're just going to lean into this weird album. Well, guess what? It ends up being their second highest selling album ever, like to Moving Pictures. So I think it's a good lesson in perseverance, not to sound cheesy, but perseverance, but also like, I think a lot of times when doing something creative, you want to, what are people going to like?
Right.
And you listen to a bunch of people tell you what you should do, or you try to do something other people are going to like. And I mean, not just creative, but just in life. And that's not the way to do it. Do what what you're feeling, what you want to create. And that's the only way you're going to have a point of view. And that's really the only way you're going to truly be successful. And you look at a lot of bands who could have just made the same album over and over, but instead we're like, nah, we're going to talk about the temples of Syrinx and, you know, so I love 2112. I love that we both had Rush as our number 4. And what you got for number 3?
Number 3, there's a band called Deaf Heaven.
Yeah.
And the album Lonely People with Power that came out in 2025.
I don't know that one.
It is a really, really great record.
Okay.
Really dig it. I'm a Deaf Heaven fan. So, but I remember when it was coming out, I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then when I actually, you know, read an article where the lead singer was talking about how it's based off of, I was like, oh, it's going to be a concept. I was like, sick.
Nice.
So then just listening to it, it's a great record from start to finish. Magnolia is an amazing song. Doberman's great, but I think my favorite track is The Marvelous Orange Tree. It's near the end of the record, and it's just a great record. So
nice.
Talking about if maybe you're like, well, I've given Deaf Heaven a try. I'm not. Well,
let me ask you a question, because I only really got into one Deaf Heaven record, and it was the one that came out before that one. And I can't believe I'm blanking on the title. I don't know if you remember, but it had like a black cover, and it had like I actually have the album, but I'm blanking on what it's called. But it was much less screaming. It was like singing, and then he brought in that vocal about halfway through the album. And actually I think it was 2023 or something like that I listened to that. That was like my second most listened to album. I just can't think of what it's called. Infinite Granite. That's what it is. And then went and saw them live. Tremendous. So all that prelude to say, what is the style of this one? Is it more of like the kind of black metal-y hardcore stuff, or are they making it more singing?
It's I would say, this is gonna be kind of weird, but I mean, because someone labeled them before like black metal shoegaze or something. Something how they did that. I just think that they wrote a record that is, I think it's different than Sunbather. It's different than New Bermuda. Is different each time. But I want to say like they landed on exactly the right amount of everything from the musicianship is still just phenomenal altogether. But it's not, when people think concept, okay, it can get boring. Not boring at all. It's like it is now. You put it on and you're like, oh my gosh, like from start to finish, it is not a boring record. And it at least for me, and I think for other people, it keeps your attention the whole time.
Yeah, I would never think of Deaf Heaven as being boring, but I know what you mean. Sometimes a concept album can be like bloated and
Correct.
you're like sometimes sacrificing the music to sort of stick with some sort of narrative. So yeah, and I liked Sunbather, but I think that's one thing that you and I have different is like I have to be in a very specific mood to listen to. I don't even know what's the yelling, the singing where it's like screaming.
Right.
Whereas you love that stuff, right? Like you've always, matter of fact, you can do that. And you know, if we ever if we brought a band together again, you'd have to be doing vocals with y'all know, I think you should do one now. No,
I should not.
But we did have a song we played live where you got to do some screaming and it was awesome.
It was fun.
So,
so that was my third one.
Okay, cool. So my third one is also Coheed and Cambria. Okay. It's In Keeping Secrets of the Silent Earth 3. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. I listen of probably all the albums that we've talked about so far. I would say the only one I've listened to more is Built to Spill. I put this album on all the time because it's just it. Okay. It rocks. It rules. It's catchy.
Yeah.
And it does have a story. Now, I am not even going to begin to try to explain what this thing is about. The Amory Wars. Claudio, the main guy, the singer, he writes, I think, like graphic novels.
Yep.
And so his album. So you did Second Stage Turbine, right? And that one came before this one, right?
That's the first one.
That's the first one.
And then this is the second. So this is all apparently flows together.
Yeah. So I mean, I heard about Coheed and Cambria through you. It was right around the time this album came out because I remember you were like, yeah, some people say they're kind of like Rush, and I was like, well, let me give them a try. And I personally wouldn't compare them to Rush.
Right.
Like I don't really see it other than I guess people call it proggy and there's stories. And I mean, look, 2112 and this album are both on my top 5, so I guess there are some similarities. But I just straight up love the album. It's like a violent album. I mean, there are lyrics that you're like, did I hear that right? Yeah. But he sings it with such, I've used this term before with artists where they're in earnest. Like he is telling a story and he's not trying to be cute about it. No. He's not trying to be clever or funny. It's like, and by the way, this is a crazy convoluted story that I read about and was like, yeah, I won't be able to explain that at all. But like, as I'm listening to it, I feel like I'm in a movie and I'm listening to a thing and it's like, he's dead serious. They are. And it's just one of my favorite albums straight up. So Coheed and Cambria and Keeping Secrets is my number 3.
All right.
And now we're up to number 2.
Well, you hit the ball onto my end, and this is my number 2 is that album.
Yeah.
In Keeping Secrets of the Silent Earth 3. It is.
Do you know what it's about?
No, the thing is that years ago I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna read the series. Yeah. I'm gonna read the series, and sadly enough, I do read. I have books. I purchase books, and
you sound just like somebody that doesn't read. I purchase books. I read.
No, I'll throw them on the shelf. I'm like, I'm gonna get to it, and eventually we'll get to it. Yeah. But the fact is that it wasn't just like one book. It was like, and that's the type of thing is like, I feel like if you're gonna dive into this thing, you got to have clear calendar because you got to, Is
it graphic novel or is it just like a straight up book?
I want to say it's more comic book type type thing. But it is. But if you think, okay, man, in 2003, this was boom. This is their sophomore LP, and it's such a great record, and it doesn't matter, and it holds up today. Like I mean, I think I've said that before, but like if this came out in 2025 or 2026, it would still like
absolutely.
I mean, but the songs. I mean In Keeping Secrets is great. The Crowing is absolutely amazing. Yeah. The Back End Forever. I mean, it's just the musicianship. And the thing is, what was weird is that someone asked me like, "Oh, do you like this song?" And they gave me like, "Calm down." I know what songs I like about it. Like they want to like okay, calm down. But it is just from start to finish is a great album. But even after this, all their albums are just, they're phenomenal, and they grow and grow and grow. And it is kind of cool to see how they kind of have like that, like, I guess like a Rush type band following where you got people that, follow them all the way through and have stuck with it. But 100% agree with you. It's just an awesome album.
Nice.
Period.
That's cool. That's Do we see them together? I know I saw them.
I've seen them 4 times.
Okay, then I'm sure we were together whenever I saw them. I can't remember who they played with, but I remember it was a good show. And they're a band that I have a lot of bands that, okay, one of their albums is like my favorite album of all time, but then I never listen to their other ones. And I don't know why I do that, but it's like I get obsessed with albums, and then I go, okay, well, if I want to hear Coheed, I'm just going to put on And Keeping Secrets. But it's like one of these days I need to really listen to the other ones. Awesome. All right. Well, my number 2, I have the vinyl. It is Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. I love this album a lot because for many reasons. One, it is a big concept record about, Kendrick Lamar in Compton and growing up and sort of being pulled between being in gangs and trying to be good, and make it out and having people depend on him and seeing the things around him. And I thought it was a very bold choice I think this was his second record, and his first one I don't think really was a big hit or anything. And the first song I heard was Backseat Freestyle. It's kind of hard for me to say for some reason. And it's just like a banger, it's like a single. But then like the rest of the album around it and even that song in context is even better. It has his family in it. He's got like recordings of like his mom on the answering machine. And why I like this album so much, besides just the fact that it's very re-listenable, I like it better than any of it, because once I fell in love with this album, I'm like, he's one that I was like, I'm gonna listen to all of his ones coming after it. To Pimp a Butterfly was
what an awesome track title. I mean,
it's an album title to Pimp a Butterfly. It got a lot of accolades, more so I think than Good Kid, Mad City, but I like this one better. And then he did Damn, which I liked a lot, and then I actually fell off after that. But it made me I didn't listen to really any rap for quite some time, and I just didn't like I liked 90s rap.
100%.
And then there's a couple here and there. I like My A Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy by Kanye West. I like The College Dropout. And there are like a few here and there. Like I liked Earl Sweatshirt, had an album I really liked, but this was the first one that I was like, I'm back. So, into rap. So
cool.
All right. Number 2, Good Kid, Mad City.
Nice.
All right.
So this is my number 1. I love this record for just, I think why I love this record so much is because of not just being just a concept, but just with how creative it is, I think, from everything. And that is Armor for Sleep, What to Do When You... when you're dead.
Okay.
And this is a sick album. I can't explain it. This is actually the 20th anniversary record. So, because when I got it when it was on CD, of course. And then when they started kicking out, vinyls, I picked it, when to grab it, but it comes with like literally a guide, like literally a guide. But this album is very, my bad. Very, very creative album. I love it because it's just not just like, oh, it's a rock band, this is how they play. Like they really introduce a lot of different things, but throughout the whole album, songs like Remember to Feel Real, Truth About Heaven, The More You Talk, The Less I Hear, and then Basement Ghost Singing. I mean, those are 5 tracks that just really, really stand out, but it's just a great record. I love the lyrics, and it's just a very, very cool thing. And, I don't know. I just, that was a key thing. But like, to get your hands on that thing and there's all the cool stuff that comes with it. It's a very, very great album and very cool artwork and all that stuff. But, just love this band.
Yeah. And I think one of the reasons I like concept albums or concept records, is because, the artist really put thought and effort into it.
Oh yeah.
It's like you might swing and miss on a concept album. Right. It's happened many times.
Oh, for sure.
But it's like, at least, these guys really thought about this. Like, I'm just looking at the record. I'm looking at the artwork. I've heard Armor for Sleep. I like them from what I've heard, but I'm not like a big fan. I know Logan, my son, likes them too. He probably knows more than I do. But hearing you talk about it again, I've said this a bunch, but I'm like, I want to give it a shot. Like, I would love to listen to this. Based on how you're describing it. So, and from what I've heard from them, like you said, I never thought to like pigeonhole them into any certain sort of category. So I'd love to hear what they did on this, since they clearly like put a lot of thought into it. And so speaking of putting a lot of thought into it, this album for my number one, I've just fallen in love with in the last 2 years. It's an older album that, you know, everybody's heard of, and it is Tommy by The Who. And I resisted this album for a really long time. So are you a Who fan?
I am not.
Okay. Yeah, you look like somebody farted, like when I said
No,
it. So,
well, it's interesting because we're at some point in an episode we're gonna get to this, because there is a chunk of bands that people love, and I go, cool.
Yeah.
And not like as if like
that's fine.
Like what I like is whatever, but The Who, even just with what I've heard, it never grasped me.
So you know, when I hear that, that's a challenge. I just want to be like,
I agree. I agree. I would do the same thing if I said it to you.
Yeah. I mean, and I think for me, so my journey when it comes to The Who was, kind of thought they were corny, you know, because growing up, like I knew about Tommy. All they played on the radio was like Pinball Wizard.
Right.
And of course, just like, you know, there were some Who songs that would be out there. Bob O'Reilly, which is a great song, but it felt like this is what old people listen to. I don't really care. And then what changed for me with them was, and I had no interest in Tommy. I'm like, some story about a deaf, dumb, and blind kid. That sounds horrible. Like, I don't want to listen to that. I have no interest. But when the first time I really fell in love with The Who was actually in your brother's truck. I don't know where we were going, but he put in Live at Leeds. And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. And mainly because of Keith Moon. Mm-hmm. I mean, Keith Moon, I can say is my favorite drummer of all time.
Cool.
And it's an interesting comparison. You were talking about Neil Peart earlier, and he is he's like not real. Like he's the most technically best drummer, rock drummer I've ever seen. And I think most people, if you asked who's the best rock drummer of all time, I don't know, might say John Bonham, might say Neil Peart, might say Keith Moon. Keith Moon isn't as technical, but you hear this guy on drums at Live at Leeds. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're listening to a madman who is just attacking the drum set. His fills are insane. The way he attacks the toms, it's like, I was in love with it. And I didn't know those songs. Like, and maybe you haven't heard some of these songs, but this is the first time I heard them in this way. This is early, you know, I think it was 71, I think. Mm-hmm. And they did, you know, it's like, Heaven and Hell, Substitute, I'm a Boy, it's called Fortune Teller, I think. And they just rip through like the first 5 songs. And I'm like, that might be the best just rock I've ever heard. Like, so I encourage anyone who hasn't listened to Live at Leeds. And then over the years, like, I don't listen to all their stuff, but I said, I need to give Tommy a try a couple years ago. And it's a masterpiece. I mean, it's long. It is somewhat convoluted and stuff. I mean, it is sad and dark. I mean, Tommy gets like molested. By like his uncle. Like there's a song, you know, anyway. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I mean, he's getting his butt kicked by stuff, you know, but it is ultimately a triumphant sort of thing also. About a year ago, Eric, our friend Eric, is like, he's been very influential for a lot of the music I listen to since like high school. He's the one that got me into Rush. And he's not like a Who fan either. And I said, I want you to listen to Tommy with me. So at his house, he's got like a really good setup, really loud speakers. And we sat and we played it loud and we listened to the whole thing. And he's like, okay, I get it. you know? So if you ever have a night and you just are like, I'm curious what this thing is about. I think it was like, I don't even know how it was received. I think maybe people didn't really like it. Like it was too like, oh, they're doing too much here. Like it's like, give us some of the old stuff.
Right.
And, you know, and some people love it. I happen to be in the camp of people who love Tommy by The Who.
That's awesome.
So there you have it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. And if you need an intro into The Who, live at Leeds, go for it. Okay. Are we done? Do we each do our top 5?
We're done with top 5. So you got Tommy by The Who, and I did Home for Sleep.
All right. Well, listen, I enjoyed this like we always do. Let's finish up with any recommendations you might have.
All right. I have one. This is from a band from Richmond called Division of Mind. They just put out a new record called Exo Terror, and it is awesome. Great hardcore record. It has currently been going when I'm in the gym or if I'm running. That this album's playing. It is nice. Legit thing. So if you wanna play it when you go in the gym, throw on some.
So basically, I'll never hear it because no, I need to get in the gym more often. And that is a good place to listen to the type of music that you mostly like. It's I would say like stuff I listen to in the gym is definitely like Mastodon and Snapcase and stuff that you listen to more. All right. I don't really have a recommendation other than what I've been listening to is I'm not going to recommend this necessarily because I can't say that I can recommend it, but and I forgot to mention this. We did breakup albums and I totally forgot to mention this. I was talking to a friend of mine who was like, well, what about Taylor Swift? Because she does like all these breakup albums and Tortured Poets Department. And she starts telling me the backstory. And I'm like, you know, the meme with the popcorn, you know, because it actually is kind of interesting, the whole backstory. So I was like, you know what? I've never listened to Taylor Swift. Mm-hmm. I don't, and I'm not a hater, but I have asked, I mean, I don't really know any dudes that like Taylor Swift. Right. So I have some female friends and of course they all like Taylor Swift. And I'm always like, can you explain Taylor Swift to me? Like, why is she the most popular artist in America? Like what's going on? And the reaction is for them to get mad at me. You're not allowed to ask. Like she is. I mean, sir, I've literally had like my friend G was like very pissed that I would even, cause I wasn't being mean. I was just like, I don't understand. Like what's good about it? I listened to Tortured Poets Department. It was better than I thought it'd be. I mean, it's, I can't say I'm like a super fan now or anything, but anyway, as far as what I've been listening to that's new, I can say Taylor Swift Tortured Poets Department.
Wow.
I
never.
I know. It's all I can say is I kind of get it a little bit after listening. It's very highly produced. Got a lot of features on it. She doesn't have like much of a vocal range, but it's one of those things where she has a niche.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Now, is this the album where people were like buying denim jackets and like going to her show?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know. Wait, that might be, is Eras a different album? Because I know that Eras tour was like I don't know much at all about Taylor Swift.
The only thing that I can say is I had to do a lip sync battle and I had to do Bad Blood. And that
I do know that song.
And that was like the first time I ever really knew about Taylor Swift. So I had to like sit there and like, okay. But anyway, I apologize for encouraging.
I'm sorry for bringing up Taylor Swift, but I'm not, because you know what? We're not music snobs. That's just to, I know we're wrapping up the show here, but like I decided years ago, I am not going to be Mr. Music Snob guy.
Oh yeah.
There was a Vanessa Hudgens song, Sneaker Night, that I secretly was listening to. And I was like, why am I being secret? I like this song. It's a banger. Yes, it's the girl from High School Musical, but I like it.
It's cool.
I'm like, from now on, I'm not apologizing for if I like something. But you know, the era we grew up in, like, especially like when we were in college, it was back when like sellout was still a thing. People talked about sellouts. It was like, you were judged on what type of music you liked. I mean, it was, at least with the groups, our friends and who we were around, was like, so who's your favorite band? It's like, you better know who these bands are. And if you say somebody like that, it's like, okay, you don't know much about music. You know?
The whole thing is like, when it comes down, it doesn't matter about the genre or whatever. If it's
Yep.
Good, it's good. Doesn't matter what it is. And
I
like
agree.
only why is just because I've never gotten a Taylor Swift. Is just
And
it
it's
is what it is.
for the record, I'm not into Taylor Swift.
No, I'm not. I'm not judging you.
No. I know I'm getting so defensive about this. And I'm the one that brought it up. I think those are good words to live by, to end on. If it's good, it's good. And that is the message that we are sending out on
100%.
Personal Records.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, man, we did it again. We did another episode.
Have a good night.
Peace.